In the last episode, in the last update, we showed you this middle section as well as this new part of the treehouse over here. But I have added on a third part of the treehouse, which looks a little bit more like a home, and I've also employed a couple cool, interesting things that I'm going to talk about. Hopefully, towards the end of the video, I might make a whole separate video on, simply because they're so awesome, but yet so easy to do. And so this is the first part of the treehouse. If you remember, we have the nice little swinging lift here that brings us up, and then whoa! So I was talking about in the last episode how you get launched sometimes, and that's exactly what happens. It's just a very weird design, simply because of the lift part right here, and because you're essentially going from standing and being flipped over as you go up, because I mean you're standing up down here and then it brings you up, and so that doesn't really make much sense. You'll be flat on your face, well, maybe, and then it swings you around, and so it's just a very interesting concept, and so I don't think the physics for the game quite work perfectly, but I mean it is nice because you can make something like that and then just pick yourself up. And so that's the lift here. We have our house part here. If you guys remember, the roof folds down, the floor folds up, this picks itself up and then swings around, and hopefully, okay, we're good. And so that's the first part of the house. The first house is pretty cool because it does a couple different things. You know, these bearings aren't that they can't hold that much weight, and so things can get a little weird. I mean, like right there, you can see how if I, you know, speed up the process, something like that, things kind of get offset. We've got our nice staircase that folds out here, just kind of folds out and then extends up. And then we have this part with this walkway. This walkway is also getting kind of janked up. And I should say, too, another thing that happens is that when you come back into the game, if you haven't put everything back how it should be, by start, things will fold into themselves and get stuck. I think you can kind of see over there where my pointer's marking. This lift is messed up because it was up, and so when it came back into the game, it flew back up real fast and got stuck in something. And so you have to really watch how you go about doing your lifts and things, and having railings is the biggest issue. Having railings can cause things to get clipped through each other, and so until that gets fixed, there really isn't much that we can do. Okay, and so we showed you the second part here, and this is the other treehouse over here. And so this doesn't really do much here, but I added on this whole new area over here, which actually looks more like a house, okay? They look more like homes, I think. And so there is a bridge underneath this walkway that curls up. And so what I thought I'd do is in this video show you how to do this, because it's super simple. You can see the bridge is curled up, and I have a couple of those other designs too. You can see one over there, and there's one right there. And so we've got elevator here, kind of staircases here, and now we have bridges that curl up. And so what this one does is it folds out, and then I have another set of lift arms underneath that are right there that push it up. And because it's too much weight, and so it doesn't land perfect. So we go ahead and trigger that, and then we can trigger these a little bit later, and so you can see how they just kind of fold up. Things are getting weird, man. I don't know why things are kind of getting a little interesting here with the walkways, because this is perfectly flush before. Gotta wait a little bit. All right, so what I think I'll do is let me trigger this, and then I'll run away and show you what it looks like. So it just kind of folds out like that. It's pretty easy design, pretty cool to do. So now it's fixed. And then this lift arm comes up and it pushes this up. There you go. So then we go into this house. Door opens up. Nice little home here. Big, huge ceiling. Kind of had that design. It's kind of cool. Definitely dropping the frames. I mean, I think I've got this as big as I think I can make it without like really hurting my frames anymore. It's pushing it. This tree city is pushing it. Okay, so normal little ordinary house, right? No, it's not. You can step right here, hit this button. Floor folds down into this staircase. I have had to rework this several times because they kept this arm kept getting stuck under things, and it was just really annoying. And I just wanted something that just dropped straight down. And I could do like a scissor lift and stuff, but there's not a lot of room to work with. I did it over here, and I'll show you that. So here it folds down into this other area. And I like the thing about this part that I like. I've kind of gone back and tried to make it so I can go back up if I want to. A couple areas now can do this, which is kind of cool. And so I've gone back through and kind of made it so I can fold the floor back up or go back to the previous level, the previous area. This is a little weird because you bounce, and so you got to watch out for falling off. All right, so here's the next part. Oh no. Okay, good. We're good. It was clipped through the floor. So I'll just show you what this looks like. If I can't stand there, I'll get clipped through the wall. And then I gotta spend all the time walking back up here. So this is a really, really, really easy design, and I'll show you how to do this. Alright, so here's to the next area. It's a nice little floating walkway. It's not floating, it's got some... I like making everything look somewhat realistic, and so I do have, like, you know, pillars going down. And so for weight purposes and whatnot, I don't know. Okay, so here we go. This folds out. And the next part up here is probably the most complex part that I've made, just because it took me the longest. So down here is another lift. We'll look at that here in a second, because that was a user request, and I made that. So here's the next little bit of a home. We have our green room here, where we have the sunlight coming through, growing all of our plants and stuff. Just, I don't know why, it just looks cool. Not a whole lot you can do aesthetically, and so I've kind of done what I could. Another room here. This is kind of like the parts room. Man, I put a bunch of parts in here and it lagged me out so hard. I had to make sure I had very few. I also did notice too, the more switches, the more things you have engaged, the more lag you can incur. So here's another table. What is that? That's not good. When you see parts of something sticking through somewhere, it's not good at all. Okay, so here's the next part. Hopefully this works. Please work. Oh yeah, an elevator. Ding ding ding. It's so cool. And I have it so it's way up here, and so, you know, I can drop it down if I want to. And this one actually does go straight up and down. I've kind of employed that elevator type of thing for this area. Alright, so we just step on out here, close the gate so we don't fly out, and then we need to hit the button to go down. This, you can see the arm, where the arm's at. And we'll take a look at that here a little bit more in a second. I've worked this area so many different times trying to do different designs that actually worked, and that is as close as I could get to being how I want it to be. Oh yeah, first of all, we have to do this first. We need to hit this first. The bridge folds out. I don't know why I have this. Just another cool thing. Then the arm folds up, and we're down. That is the complete circuit of the treehouse. It's pretty epic. What is that thing? Okay, so what this one is essentially one arm that has a bunch of different parts that come out. And so when it's fully extended, it just like kind of goes straight up. And so this is not a scissor lift, it's just one arm, but the bearings are set in such a way that I can manage to keep it straight up and down. So you can see there's just 90, 180s all the way up, and then this is set to 90 to start with, which is the top part, and so it doesn't flip around. Okay, so this is a user suggested part right here. Somebody said make an elevator that can bring your cars up. Now the biggest problem with this is, in order to get this to do what I want, unless it was flush completely on the side with this bridge, it wasn't going to work. And so that it was just very, very difficult to get it to be perfect. And so I had to build this bridge. So the problem with the bridge is that it adds extra weight on the side. And so you have to balance the weight, and the weight is not balanced right now. Now, the other problem with these big lifts is that they require you to have everything perfectly balanced if you're going to have a car on it. Because the moment I drive this car up on here and I hit that switch, it's going to go crazy. It's either going to lean way forward or lean to the back. It has to be like perfectly centered or it will not work. And so these lifts are very difficult to work with, especially if you have a heavier car. I had my giant car in here, the one that doesn't flip over, and it was just too much. And so I made a smaller version of it, or sort of, and this one won't work either. It just tips. And so, and then this right here too, this is causing me issues, I think, in terms of lag. It's a switch that fell through the world. So basically what this is this is a giant scissor lift. And this is very easy to make and really cool. I think this is probably one of the cooler things you can design. Now you can kind of see that it's not perfect. It's not like, you know, perfectly set. It's like kind of in a weird manner there. You can kind of see how it's offset a bit. I thought it was perfect. I don't exactly know what the heck happened. I think one of these arms is longer. I think it's this one right here. But it still works nonetheless. It still works perfectly fine. But that could also be attributing to my my weight problems. So this gets a little tricky because you have to have, you know, you want to have things set to like 45 and 90 to get like this kind of an interesting look. And, you know, building up the amount of arms and like getting the degrees just right is very important, because you could make this go straight up, but, you know, to get this kind of cool scissor-like look, this is what you're left with. So what I thought I'd do for the end of the video here is show you how to make those bridges, because they're extremely easy to make. And what we can do is make it right off of here, just as a demonstration, because I did think about adding something on here, because it's kind of a barren, empty area. You know what I mean? There's definitely room for improvement right here. Okay, so what you have to do is go ahead and put one block down, and then put a bearing on that, and then this is where it gets a little tricky. So you can do this you can make a bridge whatever size you want, essentially, except for one. One doesn't really work. 2, 3, 4. I think that's 4 up there, and that's pushing it. And the other thing to keep in mind is that you have only 10 bearings that you can hook up to the switch. And so what you do is click on the bearing and drag out how far you want your bridge. And then you don't come back over here. You drag from here and make your adjustment there. And so let's go 3 for now. And then go back on this side, click again, drop another bearing, and then just repeat the process. Now we're going to go probably 5 out to show you the curl method. And then it's just a matter of tweaking the degree of the controller to get you the desired look. And then you can also offset the timing and, you know, get a different curl. I have like I have some interesting curls throughout. Most of them are just like kind of a base, though. They're not anything too extravagant. So then just connect up your switch, and let's have this one fold underneath like we did in the first one. And so we're going to, what we need now is a switch. Let's go ahead and put our switch down. This is just for demo purposes. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're all pointing red, so we want the fold down. So what I usually do is set this to like probably 75, and then delay it a little bit, and then set these to 60. And then what you want to do is you want to make sure, slow it down. Don't make it speed up, or it's going to flip out on you and break. So you can see it's going to curl down a little bit. Actually, that's probably too slow. We can probably change that. Now you can see that it's kind of curled up on the controller. You wouldn't want the controller there, but you want it to curl up on itself. And so what I think I'm going to do is, just for the whole sake of the video, is to put this here, and then we'll connect this up. And I'm going to make another video about like both of the lift styles and the bridge as well in the future. So you can look forward to another guide video at some point. Let's take it out. Let's go out to like 8 maybe, because I think that's going to give us the better look. Now, like I said, you can make this like 4 wide if you want to. It's just kind of up to you. And I think maybe 4 might be max. anything other than that might be pushing it. Although I think you can do it. It's just going to look really weird. Okay, so let's go ahead and do 7, 75, and then we can set these to like 60. And we might want to adjust this even more based on how many we have, since I don't have the full 10. So let's do like that right there, and then we'll hit the switch, and this will fold up like that. Now, so you can see how like the 60 kind of like it just dropped down like that. What I think we could do, so these parts are different, is to make the come in here and adjust these, which I think I did do. I did do that, I believe. And so let's make these 60, and then let's make this like 75, and see what that looks like. It's pretty simple to do. So now this should be, yeah, there we go. A little bit more to laid, a little bit more of a curl, and we can even make that fold down even more and push it back even more flush. It's a very, very simple design, super simple to do, and it gives you a cool bridge effect. And so, you know, you hit the switch. I think I actually had these maybe going a little bit, maybe I had them pretty quick actually. It's getting stuck on that switch there. I do like that look though, man. That is sweet. So, you know, that's 7. It's still flat. Now, if we were to go out to 10 with that much, it would start to dip ever so slightly. And so you can do, I'll just kind of show you what 4. Let's see. Let's do 1. And let's make this 3. And then let's make, you just have to adjust the curl essentially. Because it's gonna be too much. It's gonna look weird. So 4. Let's see. I think 4 is the. I think 4 is the max, unless you have the whole bridge set to like the same thing. I think 4 is the max. That's not gonna work. Maybe if you had everything else the same size, it might work. But yeah, I don't think that's gonna work. All right, so let's set these to 75. Let's see what that does. I guess it does work. It's just, see how it's kind of snagging right there? So we might want to go in here and adjust this. See, it's like, that's pretty much max right there. Unless you have the whole rest of the bridge the same size, it's really, it starts getting really weird if you have like a different sizes on that rotation out. And you can kind of see it's starting to slightly dip. So, guys, thank you so much for watching. I think this is probably going to be the last iteration of the treehouse, simply because my frames are starting to get maxed out. Things are going crazy, and I don't know what else to do. I mean, maybe if they add some more things in, like pistons or something like that, we can kind of expand this. But I think for right now, the tree city is at a hold until we maybe get some more things in the game. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for all your support and all your comments and likes and subscriptions and everything. You guys are great. I really, really appreciate it. Let me know what you guys think of the tree city. Let me know your thoughts about this. Hopefully you guys are having a great day. Subscribe if you're new. I'll see you guys in the next one.